Hi there. I actually wanted to I think one of the things I said recently in one of my videos is that I wanted to share a little bit about myself. And so um, I'm 56, so I've had quite a life. and I'm not going to sit here. Actually, I'm standing because I'm doing exercises. Um, I'm not going to stand here and tell you my whole life because it would just be too much. But I'm just going to share with you um, something that changed my life. And that happened in the year 2016. My husband, were we married? No, we got married the year after. So in 2016, he and I were on a date, and you know, we women who have things that hang, particularly rolls, stomach rolls, we were stuffed to, tuck them back in, which I did, because I was wearing a pretty outfit, and so I thought, okay, I must tuck. Even I don't know, it's stupid because we've been together for a long time, so we were together for quite a long time. Let me think for a second. Before we got married in 2017, and 10 years. We were together, I think, for 10 years. Yeah, I had to make sure. I had to make sure that that he was the right person for me because I had come out of a really nasty, horrible marriage, and I did not want to repeat that mistake. Anyway, that's another story for another time. So we were in the car, and I don't remember. We stopped somewhere, or we were on the way to the restaurant, where I was sitting there in the car in the passenger seat, and I couldn't breathe. I felt like I had to get out, and I couldn't breathe. So I don't even remember where he parked, but I started ripping that sucker underneath my clothes off. I was like, I can't breathe. And it made me really nervous. So I went to, I think that happened to me twice. But this was, I believe, the last time. And so I couldn't breathe. So I went to the hospital, the local hospital, and the doctor, without without really doing much. I mean, the tests were done. I think a CAT scan was done, and so he pretty much, they discovered something underneath what seemed like underneath my rib cage, which is the reason why I couldn't breathe. And he said to me, as I was lying there in the hospital with my 16-year-old daughter at the time, he said to me, without saying the C word, because she was there, he said, you have a mass the size of a fist, and it's in your pancreas, and we're going to be aggressive about it. And we were stunned. The three of us left there. My husband, or my fiance at the time, my daughter and I left and went back home. And I thought, no, I need a second opinion. I need a second opinion to even begin to consider that I had cancer. And so I went to a cancer specialist, and he was wonderful. He said to me, "We're not going to even say the C word until we do a biopsy." And so we did a biopsy. I think a few days or maybe a week later, and he said to me, "It's not cancerous." They did, so part of the mass was solid, and the other part was gelatinous. And so they went to both sides and took pieces of it to take a look and see what the hell that was. And yeah, thank God, that it wasn't cancer. But it was precancerous. And so he said to me, "Okay, we're gonna go in, we're gonna remove it," and I was scheduled for I think 2 months after. And I hated it because I had that thing there and it was oppressing and it was, breathing was not fun. I couldn't sit comfortably and breathe. If you think about it, your diaphragm is right there. And so anything in there would just cause havoc with your breathing. Yeah, I think my husband told me that it was an 8-hour surgery. And he and my daughter, and I don't know who else was there during the 8 hours. And I came out, and it turned out, and actually I didn't know about this for a long time, possibly years. So I knew that they had removed half of my spleen, half of my pancreas. And then the doctor, while he was in there, he's like, well, she's older, she doesn't really need her spleen. So they removed my spleen. And I think that, if I remember correctly, my husband said that some of the growth was attached to my stomach. So they removed a little bit of my stomach. If I had known prior to having the surgery that they were going to take some of my stomach out, I'm like, hey, take as much as you can. But anyway, so that happened. And it was, the surgery went just fine. It was the recovery. The recovery was hell. The first surgeon, because I had 2 surgeries, I'll tell you about the second one. And so the first surgeon, before I was released from the hospital, I had a drip and he removed it. It was pretty painful. I'm not gonna lie. It's one of those memories like, ugh, I don't want to think about it. But anyway, so he removed the drip and he sent me home. And with the most minimal instructions on how to recover, like how to heal. That's important. And he sent me with nothing, like nothing. Like, oh, take this medication. And so I would call in and I'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm constipated because of the medication pills. I want to get off of them. And he was like, I wasn't talking to him. I was talking to the nurse. And she was saying, no, just, we're going to give you something for the constipation. So that was such a vicious cycle. If you've ever been on pain pills and then on diuretics, it's like, okay, you have pain, you want to, so you want to take the pain pills, but then they constipate you, so you want to stop taking the pain pills and take the diuretics, and then you're able to, so movement happens in your bowels, but then you have pain, so you're like, oh my God, I need to take the pain pills. And so it's a big giant loop. I've been on it several times. I'm actually on it right now, but I know more, so I know how to treat me. And sometimes I forget because I'm old or older, and I'm busy. I mean, frankly, I am busy. Anyway, so that happened. The fun part of the story is that because they didn't tell me, how to take care of myself, and my incision was just like, I'm gonna say like a good 6 to 8 inches, going downwards in my belly, right? Didn't tell me how to take care of that. So every time I would sit, imagine this: you're trying to get off of the bed, and the incision tears. Now that happened to me for almost a month. I'm gonna say like maybe a month and a half. And I kept calling the nurse, oh my God, I can't get up. It splits, it tears. It was such, I was on a mental ride. I was like, I'm never gonna get off this. Like, what am I doing? Why aren't these people telling me what to do? For sanity's sake, I don't wanna be on this ride. And so I called a few times, they did nothing. They said nothing. And so, oh, it'll heal, put butterfly stitches. No, ma'am, butterfly stitches did not work. Those suckers would come right off. Hello, I'm a big woman. So, yeah. I think maybe if I was thinner, maybe that might have worked, but okay. Anyway, it didn't. And so Okay, so then, oh, so I told my husband, I said, honey, or maybe he thought about this. I'm going to say him because I was in pain and I was just, mentally scarred at that point. I think he said, at that point, my husband said, I'm going to go to a pharmacist. A pharmacist, should know what to do about this. And so he did. And my husband thankfully came back with this big giant band that I put around my stomach. And yeah, I healed. My incision healed a week and a half later. And yeah, that was amazing. Amazing. Mentally, it was so good. I mean, to be honest, it wasn't even the physical portion of it, it was the mental part of it. The fact that, I would hear my skin rip and I cried. I cried a lot every day. Even, the kids were in school and I was by myself. Or even in front of my husband, My husband, the things that he had to go through to take care of me during that time were pretty insane. Anyway, the next year happens. The next year comes 2017, and come to find out that I have a hernia in my stomach. So it would have been called, or was called, an incisional hernia. So I go in, and the surgery was long. So they pretty much opened me exactly. So it was an incisional hernia. They pretty much opened me exactly where the previous surgeon had opened me from the previous year, and they went in and did what they had to. It was a long surgery. I'm gonna say it was around, I don't know, somewhere between 5 and 6 hours. I'm not really sure. I was there, but I wasn't there, right? So yeah, I just, when I came out, I was nauseous. I had somebody sitting next to me because I really thought I was going to throw up while I was in the hospital. And yeah, I finally went to my room. They finally wheeled me into the room, and the doctor came in and he said, your stomach looked like Swiss cheese. And I was like, what? And he said, yeah, your stomach looked like Swiss cheese. You had so many hernias in there. And I thought, wow. And he said, yeah. And what could have caused that? And he said, well, sometimes when a drip is removed too early, you retain a dampness in that area where the surgery takes place. And yeah, that's why, stuff happens to your muscles and it weakens that whole area. So because of the first surgery and unfortunately the lack of treatment after the surgery, I had to have the second surgery. The second surgeon was absolutely amazing, amazing. He would come to work on Saturdays to see me because my husband worked 10-hour shifts, and they had to come home and help me, and and we had the kids, and so yeah, it was a lot for him. So we could only go in Saturdays, and apparently he lived nearby, and so he would come in on Saturdays to check up on me. And so the thing that he did was he left the drip on. So he sent me home with the drip. And yeah, it was kind of icky, but it worked wonders. It did what it was supposed to. And so I drained, out of all the liquids. And I think I had it on for like a good 2 weeks after the surgery. And during the surgery, they wrapped my core, my stomach, my back, everything with like the hugest bandage, stretchy bandage you could think of. So they both look like corsets. Let me put it that way, or they could be used as corsets. But so yeah, right after surgery, he wrapped me up in the hugest one I've ever seen, and I healed. pretty nicely. I think I went to see him twice after the surgery, and I was terrified. I was so scared of having the drip removed because when the first doctor did it, um, it hurt. It hurt so much. Um, when he pulled it, I remember. I'm never gonna forget that memory. My back arched, and it was, yeah. I don't think I screamed, but I'm sure I whelped or something. Anyway, so on the second, maybe third appointment with this second surgeon, he said, we have to remove the drip. You're good. And psychologically, I was a mess. I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, I don't want to do this. I don't want to go through this again. I don't want to go through the pain. And so he was just like, yeah, just lay there on the bed, on the table. And we started chatting. My husband was there, my daughter was there. And we just started talking about, little things. How are you? How's your day? Stuff like that. And then he he tricked me. He said, whenever you're ready, let me know when I can pull the drip. And so after chatting, I was like, oh my God, I'm keeping him here. I'm keeping my daughter here. I'm keeping my husband here. It's time. So I said, okay. I sucked it up, took a deep breath. I said, okay, remove the drip. And and he said to me, I already did. When we were talking, I didn't even feel it. I'm sorry, I'm going to cry because it was just huge. This is a huge moment in my life, or one of. He removed the drip. He had to remove the drip while I was talking about God knows what nonsense, trying to postpone the inevitable, right? And so he removed it, and I was wowed. I was like, how did that happen? I didn't even feel it. And he just laughed. And I looked at my daughter. She was laughing, and my husband was laughing and smiling. And yeah, life went on. So I'm not trying to compare this one to anybody's stories. This is my story that I wanted to share. And I'm going to share more because I feel like in this channel, I need to tell you where I'm coming from. I need to share with you who I am before you might even consider listening to anything that I have to say. Because for me, I created this channel to have the conversations, the uncomfortable conversations, and to learn, because you just never stop learning. There is so much to learn. There is so much to experience. Unfortunately, life is the good and the bad, and we all know this. But yeah, I want to talk. I want to learn. I want to have conversations with the people out there. And actually, some people have commented, and some of them made me pause, and because I had voiced my opinion, and then they came back and commented, and yeah, some of the comments were like, you know, I'm gonna stop, and I'm gonna listen, and I'm gonna read, and I'm gonna do some research, and I'm gonna go into my feelings, and then probably do another what do you call it? Another video sharing. But that's what I want this page to be. I want this page to be about learning, and honestly, this is not a kumbaya page, because that's not who I am. But I've had enough painful experiences in my life that I no longer want them. And so, I'm making choices in my life, choices that I'm proud of, and some choices that maybe I need to rethink, But at the same time, they're mine to make, and they're mine to own, not to say, oh, because of somebody else, I'm going to do this, you know. No. Make your own decisions, and based on how you feel, and your past and your present, and I mean, I guess that's the best thing I can say, really look at the person, really look at the person, and if they're worthwhile to keep in your life, then why not? You know, why not? Okay, this is the 20-minute mark, and I need to go back and exercise. So what I have is a forward pelvic tilt, and I came to find out that a lot of people already have that, and it's natural for them. It's not natural for me, and so for me, I actually caused it, and so I gotta work through it. I caused it. I gotta work through it, and I gotta make it okay. One of the choices I was given is possibly surgery. No, I'm not doing that. Not right now. First, I got to do what I got to do, and if it doesn't work, then I'll consider surgery. But I don't want to fall back on surgery, and it's not because of my past experiences. It's just that this has to do with my spine. My spine is important to me, as it should be to everybody. And so, yeah, if a few stretches are going to release my pelvic, pelvis. Sorry, duh. I'm having a brain fart right now. If all I have to do is a few stretches that are gonna hurt like hell, but release that tilt, then you better believe I'm gonna do it. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. So I'm gonna end this, and there's gonna be probably a lot of videos, a few, where I share my experiences, and they're mine. So I hope that you can respect them, because I'm sharing with you. I'm sharing something that is pretty. I mean, I could have gone into detail, for God's sakes, and it would have been so bad. Oh my gosh, the things that my poor husband had to do to take care of me were so bad. Anyway, maybe I'll have him on someday so that he can talk about how things affected him. Like, he had to, I'm just really quickly, he had to give me injections. And one time he injected me in the wrong place, and I screamed. And he told me he's never going to forget that. I said, honey, I'm never going to forget that either. I love you for taking care of me, but dang, that was bad. Anyway, okay, I'm going to go back to exercising. So I don't know how many videos I'm going to put out, because I'm really intense on this. I'm intense on making myself better. So I'll keep you updated. All right. Have a great weekend. You'll see me soon.